talk about preparation for your vacation Bible school. Now, the first key to preparation is start early. You don't want to wait till the last minute. You don't want to be hurrying around. You want to have all your pieces in place as best as you can as soon as possible. When I even recruit volunteers, many times I begin recruiting volunteers at the end. And so, in other words, Bible school, when it's over, a lot of times I will go to the leaders that I want to come back and I will say, I want you to begin praying now about how you would like to help in Vacation Bible School next year. So start early, but if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, I did not do that. I did not start early and it's May and you're thinking, I got Bible school coming up. How am I going to throw this together? First of all, anything can be put together. You don't want to throw a Bible school together. Anything can be put together in the right pieces, the right place, when you do it prayerfully, when you give attention to detail, and when you give it your best effort. In other words, don't settle for second best. Don't settle for a halfway Bible school. And so the sooner you can prepare, great. If you're already behind that time gun, that's all right. We're going to help you out a little bit. And so one of the things you want to do when you prepare, you want to begin your preparation with prayer. And so that involves, I want to encourage you, have people in your church pray. Have people that physically maybe you're not able to help in Bible school anymore, or maybe they work jobs and they can't be there. Encourage them to be a part of a prayer team or a prayer network, however you want to organize that. Prayer is powerful. Prayer will impact how people come, will impact whether or not mom and dad who don't go to church and yet their kid is saying, I want to go to this, whether or not they're going to let him. Prayer makes a difference. I cannot emphasize that enough. Prayer changes lives. Prayer changes outcomes. And so let everything you do in planning, preparing, and executing your Vacation Bible School, let it all be done in prayer and with a prayerful attitude. And beyond prayer, you also need to decide what's going to set your Bible school apart, what's going to make it different, what's fresh, what's new. A lot of curriculums will not give that to you. They're going to run the same standard pattern that they run every year. And so if you're using a curriculum and you're like, we have done this before, so that your kids don't fall into that been there, done that trap, you want to find what you're going to add to take this from being a good Bible school to an incredible Vacation Bible School. And that does take a little effort, takes a little thought, a little preparation. It's not hard. It is not hard to plan a Vacation Bible School. The first time I did one, boy, I thought it was so hard, and realized on the other side of it, when you know all the pieces that play a part of it, that you don't have to run around. You don't have to take it all on yourself. You've got teams, you've got volunteers, you can recruit people. The earlier you start, the better it's going to be. But at the last minute, you can still accomplish everything you need to accomplish. There are a couple of different styles of Vacation Bible School, and this is one of the choices you're going to have to make. What kind of Bible school, now I want you to hear the question, what kind of Bible school is going to be most effective for your church and community? What's going to be most effective to fulfill your purpose? Now notice, I didn't say what kind of Bible school is going to be most convenient for your volunteers. A lot of times that's where we go to, is we want volunteers, we need volunteers, and so we opt for times and situations that are more likely to accommodate them than it is to reach people that are unchurched. Now, you got to look at your purpose. What's your purpose here? I was at a church helping them think through their Vacation Bible School, and they finally came back to me and they said, we made a decision. They said, we're going to do an evening Vacation Bible School. And I said, great. I said, what drove that, that mentality, that decision? Why did you land there? And they said, because so many of our people work during the day that they were not going to be able to be a part of it, and they wanted to be a part of it. And I said, okay, now, I said, when are you more likely to reach people? And their response was, they said, well, we know we'll reach more unchurched people if we have it in the morning, because people are going to work, they're looking for places for their kids to be. In evenings, they're conflicting with sports and other things like that. And so ultimately what the decision they made in their case was they chose to go for, we want our church people to all be involved, and we want everybody to be able to be a part who wants to be a part. And our trade-off is we're not going to have as many unchurched kids here. Now, me personally, I would have never made that decision, because my purpose in planning Bible school has always been, I want to reach as many lost people as I can. Now, that was for their community. Your community may be entirely different. In your community, an evening Bible school may be much more effective than a morning one. I was at one church. We did an afternoon Bible school, and they ended with supper. It was different, but it fit what needed to happen that year for them to be effective in their community. So think outside of the box. Bible school does not have to be 9 to noon. It can be 10 to 1. It can be 5 to 8, 5 to 7:30. It can be 1 o'clock to 4. It's flexible, but you need to look at that to decide what's going to be best. Then, do you want to do a 3-day Bible school? Do you want to do a 5-day Bible school? When I grew up, we did it. What was it? 10-day vacation Bible school? That's what we used to do. Of course, that was back when revivals were a full 7 days. Times have changed, but you've got to decide what's going to be most effective. Other alternatives besides morning versus evening is, some people have opted now to do a Wednesday through Sunday vacation Bible school. So instead of starting Monday, a lot of churches, they'll do something on Sunday, really promote it, maybe a Sunday evening kickoff or a Sunday afternoon Bible school carnival, and then they do Bible school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Parents not on Wednesday, they may go to Thursday morning, some go to Friday morning. We see some churches now, they kick off on Wednesday night because traditionally they have more kids there on Wednesday night and they want to build off of that momentum. And so they start Wednesday night, they go Thursday night, Friday night, or Thursday morning, Friday morning, whether it's morning or evening. And then they end Saturday, say it's morning, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday morning they end with a big finale, closing rally that's also the family time, and then they have a picnic afterwards. Or some churches run all the way through Sunday, and the closing of their Bible school is actually the Sunday morning worship service. Some churches have broken Bible school into weekends. So instead of doing 3 or 5 days, they'll do 4 Saturdays back to back, and the Saturdays go from 9 to 3. And it varies. You're going to have to look at your community, your church, your volunteers, what's going to be most effective reaching people in your community to really decide what's going to be the best style Bible school as well as the best schedule. Do we want to have snacks? Do we want to have a meal? Do we want to start with an opening? My preference, what I like an opening rally, introduces them to the day, gets things going, high energy songs, maybe a 30-minute opening rally, and then I like taking kids through a rotation. They've got their Bible story, and they've got their craft or their recreation, and maybe there's a video segment, and there's rotations they can go through. And every rotation depends on the length you want it to be. 20 minutes, it can be 30 minutes. When you start getting into 45 minutes or an hour, you've gone beyond a rotation into a whole different realm. I like to keep them short, very to the point. So kids come in. Now your teachers have got to stay on track with this, but they come in and boy, your teachers, they're going. But you don't want to have it so short that there's no time to relate. And you've got to realize in a rotation, most of the relationship is going to be done by the leaders that follow those kids through all of the rotations. It's not going to be the main Bible teacher or the main craft teacher. It's going to be the leaders that, I don't want to use the term shepherd, but they're the team leaders. They're the ones that take them through the rotation. They're the ones that you want to be trained how to lead someone to the Lord, how to, engage them, because that's going to be part of their purpose too. When they're in crafts, to be talking to their kids about, day one, they're learning all their names, getting to know them better, what they like, what they don't like, making conversation. Day 2, talking more. Day 3, starting to share their testimony. Day 4, really pulling kids aside one-on-one to find out where they stand spiritually. And that's something I don't see in a lot of Bible schools these days, is the intention of we're going to have a one-on-one conversation with every child that comes through the door to find out where they are spiritually, and what's going on with them. And you don't see that a lot. But rotations allow you to have that kind of flexibility with your volunteers. It also lets your volunteers specialize. So your craft people, they're doing crafts, 3 times with 3 different groups coming through, 3 different ages maybe even, but they get to specialize on the one thing they're doing so that they can do it to the best of their ability. So I like rotations a lot, and then I like bringing everybody together at the end for your big closing rally, usually about 45 minutes long, but high energy, fast-paced, presenting the gospel, challenging the kids for the next day, challenging them to bring friends, honoring kids that brought the most guests, and really ending on a real fun, big high note. That's the schedule I like, but there are a lot of different schedules out there. Your curriculum, they will give you schedules, but you still have to look at that and realize that curriculums are written for big churches, small churches, East Coast, West Coast, rural, city, written very general. So you have to look at your church, your community, your kids, and decide what's going to work best in this situation. Don't be afraid to make changes. Don't be afraid to enhance your Bible school. Don't be afraid to add to it and take away from it, because you are the one deciding what this Bible school is going to be like, not somebody that wrote that curriculum that lives 1,000 miles away and does not know your kids. And so with your schedule, it's a decision that you'll need to make, and you need to make it early enough that you can plan around your purpose, around your schedule as well. Then, continuing on, out of all that is going to be born your Bible school promotion. We've already talked about promotion in the 5 missing pieces of Vacation Bible School. We've talked about that already. You can go look at that. One thing that we did not talk about, and this is going to be one of the shortest little mini segments that we have, is decorations. Part of your planning will be decorations. Now, I have an opinion about decorations. It's simply this. They should never be the focus of your Bible school. I went to a church. Decorations were a big part of Bible school. I mean, everybody, they spent a week decorating their rooms, decorating the halls, and it looked great. But what I realized my first year there as the leader of their Bible school, I realized that by the time we started Bible school, they were so exhausted and worn out, quite frankly, that the decorations in that case had become a hindrance and a distraction instead of a benefit. The decorations, nobody is going to come to Christ because the flowers on the wall or the things hanging from the ceilings are better than they were last year. I don't mean to be unkind, because I know some people love decorations, and that is fine. And we want you to use your talents and abilities. I'm just saying decorations cannot be the priority. That cannot be what's most important to you. Now, some people, maybe that's their only thing. Let them decorate. And I did always decorate the stage. Now, the one church I was at where everybody decorated and they were all exhausted by the time kids walked through the door, the next year I told them, I said, we're not decorating our rooms. I mean, it came like a bombshell. I said, we're not decorating our rooms, because some of them even had this competition, grudge match between whose rooms were the best. And they had, different people that they had set aside to come judge their rooms. And all that was great and fun, and I didn't have a problem with it. I just had a problem with the distraction it became. And I simply told them, I said, last year, yes, you were exhausted. You were worn out. You told me you were exhausted before Bible school even began, because you stayed up for hours and hours and hours at the church on Sunday decorating. Some of you are up here till 2 a.m. decorate, and you didn't have to be. And so I told them, I said, I am freeing you up to focus on what matters. And what matters is connecting spiritual truth to the kids and the kids themselves. And so I said, this next year, we're not going to decorate any of the halls. We're not going to decorate any of the rooms. When they walk in the front foyer, we'll have decorations there where they register, sign in every day. In the auditorium, our worship center, we're going to decorate the stage, and that's all we're doing with decorations. And you know what? Not a kid, and this is a big Bible school. We had over 500 kids at that Bible school that year, and not a single one of them mentioned no decorations. I mean, it was amazing. And you know what? It didn't change the spiritual impact. In fact, afterwards, some of the people that had come to me saying, oh, but I love decorating. It's one of the big things, the highlights of Bible school for me. And I told them, I said, that's great. And I said, next year, we'll do more decorating. But this year, we're just going to take a break from it. We're going to focus on something different. And they were the ones that came back to me and said, I loved it. I mean, I got to know my kids. Their preparation was not cutting construction paper and hanging things in their room. Their preparation was praying for their kids. Their preparation was learning how to lead kids to Christ. Their preparation was all spiritual instead of very physical, very temporary. And so decorations, they can be a huge benefit. And I say, if you're going to decorate, let your decorations minister Find ways for the walls to proclaim God's glory and spiritual truth. Let it be all built around spiritual truth, not just fun decorations. Because I see a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of energy going into that. But when you evaluate, what difference, honestly, does it make in the long run? And you can feel free to disagree with me. I know some of you will, and that's okay. That's okay. You let this be your Bible school. If you see how decorations are going to bring people to Christ and draw people who don't know Christ, focus on it. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, don't let anything come in that's going to distract you from the purpose. Remember, that's where you started planning. Your purpose, everything's built around that. So focus on what's going to assist the purpose. And it's okay to have extras in there, but don't let things pull you away from that purpose or exhaust your leaders before they actually get a chance to focus on the kids. All right, let's move to the next one. Training your leaders to be evangelistic. Now, this is a big one because that training needs to happen beforehand. And sometimes it's hard to get people in the room to where you're going to train them. Now, we've all experienced that. We say, we're having vacation Bible school training, and you have, 30% that says, it's a bad time for me, bad night. That's where early preparation comes in. Early recruiting, letting them know this is a meeting, it's important, that we want you to be there. And if you can't be there, then we can set up another time where we need to sit down, because we want every worker in our Vacation Bible School to understand our purpose, to understand what we're doing, to know the schedule. But even more than that, we're going to train you how to lead people to Christ. We want you to be ready on the front lines, because Bible school is about making a difference in people's lives. And if you're not ready to do that, now think about it in context. Bible school, if it's about reaching kids, leading kids to Christ, but your workers aren't trained to do that, how can you fulfill your purpose? And so to communicate to your leadership that this is foundational. And one way that really puts that into perspective is when you look at your leaders and you say, I need you to be in this training because in 6 weeks, you are going to have kids sitting with you saying, I'm not sure I'm going to heaven. And what are you going to tell them? Are you ready for that? Now, that's not to scare your leadership. That's to say, that's why I'm going to come alongside you. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to train you. I'm going to equip you so that when that happens, you're ready to sit there, present the plan of salvation, and to lead that child to Christ. And imagine this, forever. Now, there is somebody who's going to be in heaven, and 1,000 years from now, they'll walk up to you. Now, they'll know you didn't save them, but you're the mouthpiece, you're the witness that God used to change their forever. There's no greater honor than that right there. And so, with Bible school preparation, focus on the things that matter, whether it's craft, and let everything be built around your purpose. If you have questions, let us know. We'd love to hear your questions, and we would love to answer them for you.